Christmas joy continues. Today, the 30th, we have this wonderful reading from Luke telling us about Anna, this daughter of Phanuel, who was praising God, who was able to recognize, to see the Lord, and was praising. Thank God that Luke tells us who this Anna is to help us to know what real joy is, where real joy comes from. Yesterday, we were talking about the impossibility of being joyful if we don't detach ourselves from people, from things. And as if the first reading of today knows the problem, it's telling us not to love the world because the things of the world pass away. But those who remain are those who do God's will. That is, those who are able to recognize what is happening and are able to open up and to accept reality. Okay, back to Anna, this old widow. We were told that she lived with the husband only for 7 years before he died, and that she was 84 years as at the time this event that Luke was telling us about happened. If we recognize the fact that in those days women get married when they're still very, very young. So Anna might have married around 14, 16. I don't think she would have reached 20 years. So this woman, she had at least had for certainty golden jubilee of being a widow. So she should be a widow for around 60 years. And Luke was telling us that she remained in the temple praying. She remained hopeful. She didn't lose her faith because she had the right faith. If her faith was on the material things, on the things of the world that pass away, she would be among those lamenting that I lost my faith. I prayed for God and God took away my husband. But since she had the real faith in God, she remained hopeful. She remained serving in joy, serving in the secret of the places, doing those things that people do not notice because there are those women we see in the churches who have real faith. I will tell you how to know when we have the real faith and when we don't have the real faith because it is also clear in the text. Now, she remained there serving in this temple. Don't forget that in the public life of Jesus, we'll still see that this temple is full of corruption. The priests in this temple, the scribes in this temple, the Pharisees in this temple, they are the worst of people, the worst of hypocrites, the worst of those who say and don't do. And of course, this Anna didn't just suffer this natural evil of the death of the husband. It is almost impossible that she had not suffered injustice from the hands of these priests, from the hands of these scribes, as Jesus will say when he will be lamenting about scribes. You people, you devour the house of widows. So this widow, whether directly or indirectly from someone she loved or something like that, she must have seen real injustice, real evil from these people who are in charge of the temple. Yet she remained in the temple serving God because she had the real faith. As I was saying, sometimes we also see people who are in the church there serving. The sign that my service is coming from faith, from real God, is that there is joy. She was blessing God, not lamenting. Because if I run away from God's will, maybe I ran away from my husband, I ran away from my children, then I'm coming to church as a place to substitute, I'll still be lamenting. But because she had this free heart from things, she was able to see the Lord, because the Lord is in our midst. We are not able to see Him if our heart is in darkness. That is, if our hearts are attached to the things of this world and those things go away, we will be lamenting. Anna, there are still Annas. She's a wonderful example of those who are able to see the Lord, because the Lord is in our midst. In that temple where many do not see God, where many have lost their faith because they are seeing the evil done by others. And actually, what do we see? We see who we are. If you love something and you do not get it, you will be so angry, and you will be seeing those who have that either as jealousy or you are annoyed. So the problem is inside, is that attachment to things. People see who they are in others. If you want a woman and you are not able to get that woman, every time you are seeing everybody who is going towards that woman. And whatever you have in your mind is what you are seeing, and you are presuming that they're doing. That's the exact thing. So if we are not free from within, we cannot see the Lord. We only be seeing evil. And that's why you see those people who complain so much. Put them in the same environment, they do exactly what they're complaining about. Because the problem is that they didn't have that. They couldn't steal that money. And so they're complaining that the other person is stealing. So Anna, a good example, comes to us today. So that if we really accept God's will, as the first reading was saying, we'll be happy. But if we continue to reject God and to accept false devils, false prophets who come to tell us, who come to prophesy for us material prosperity in the name of God, we're only digging big pits where we will fall into, because those things that are promising us, those things must pass away. And to the extent our hearts are attached to these things that pass away, to that extent our hell will be. You know, when you were wounded by someone you loved so much, to the extent you loved that person, to that extent you suffered the pain. Therefore, this hell you are creating in the name of prosperity, God, you will get those things. You get that husband, you get that wife, you get the money, and you will be attached to them. And to that extent, they will deal with you when all of them will go away. And your heart, which is eternal, will be yearning for God. Let us get converted now to the real joy that comes from the Lord. Peace be with you.